Welcome back to another first impression, this time for the anime From Overshadowed to Overpowered, second reincarnation of a talentless sage. Synopsis on any list. Eftal is reincarnated as a human coming from modern Earth. In this new world where magic is real, he decides to devote the entirety of his life in the pursuit of magic. Despite his efforts though, he discovers that he's absolutely talentless in magic and breathes his last in anguish. But it isn't the end for him just yet. He reincarnates once again bearing the same name, Eftal, 400 years later. Having retained his knowledge and powers, he steals his resolve and once again sets his sights for the peak of magic. So we have in Isekai, we have a double Isekai, essentially. We have Eftal, our main character, who's the black-haired guy in the picture. He got reincarnated into this world. He is inept in magic. However, through his hard work, he was able to climb to the pinnacle of lightning magic. Now, we have different elements, and every element has essentially someone who's at the top. He then, with the help of the other ones, they were able to defeat the Demon King, I believe it was, and were hailed as heroes. Now, later on, one of the other pinnacle mages, found a way to find your element. Essentially, it's a little test which shows you which element you are good at, which you are bad at. Now, it turns out that Eftal has no element he's good at. He is bad at every element, but he was still able to get to the top. Now, after he then dies and gets reincarnated again, as is described, he was able to keep his knowledge and power over his magic and decides, you know what? I'm just going to try again. Now that I have a better start position, I want to get higher. Now, we don't really know what he tries to accomplish. There are like levels to magic, level 1 through to level 10. And level 10 was the biggest he could do. So big that at that point, the spells he was casting were named after him. That is how big these mages are at the pinnacle. And we don't really know if he wants to get like a level 11 spell or tier 11 or whatever you call it, or what else he really wants to do. But that is essentially the basis. Now, there are some interesting aspects. It is 400 years later. It turns out magic has regressed a bit. You would assume magic would progress. People would become stronger, there would be more research, better mages, higher tiers. But somehow, that is not the case. Which is interesting. Also, he's heralded as one of the heroes. You know, every pinnacle of the mage is seen as a big hero because they were able to defeat the Demon Lord, yada yada yada. And he has descendants, which is also interesting because, as far as I know, he did not have a wife or children. However, he was training people, and I'm assuming those are the ones that are seen as his quote-unquote children or his legacy. And that is all we really know. We only know that magic has regressed somehow. Our guy still is as powerful as he was before. And he now wants to go to magic school and see if he can learn more magic. I don't know how, with the magic being worse than it was 400 years ago. But that is what he wants to do. Now, it is essentially overpowered isekai. Double isekai in a sense. The main character is fine. I mean, he has a pretty solid goal. He's also not... This is the good part. He's also not someone who is you can fuck with. If you go against him and you smite, whatever. If you are threatening him or his family, he's going to take it out on you. So I do like that. He is not oh, I'm so good and no, hurting people is bad. No. This is a real character. Now, sadly, there's not really much going on in the first 3 episodes that I can put forward. We have a lot of fights. Essentially, there's combat, not necessarily against other people, but also against monsters. We see how he acclimates to the new environment. We see a little bit about his past because he is living with his mom. We find out why is he living with his mom, which looks very attractive, just FYI. Where he's coming from, his family, the situation of his family. And we more or less resolve the situation with his family in the first 3 episodes first, before we then go and learn magic at a big school, supposedly. But yeah, he is overpowered, essentially, because magic has regressed in this timeline. And character-wise, again, he is solid. I have no problems with him. It does feel like similar to other isekai, but with a slightly better character at this point. Again, only 3 episodes. Can't really say more until we see a little bit more. So far, I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it enough. It's an isekai. It's not a bad isekai. It's also not really a top isekai or a good isekai yet. Again, not much to go off on. But I did enjoy the first 3 episodes so far. Now, if you question, we have this picture. All the other characters are not in the first 3 episodes. I did not see the dragon. I did not see this girl or this girl. Just FYI. Let's see. AniList has it at 67%. My anime list at 6.69. Nice. And I also would put it at a 6 out of 10 right now. It's missing a little bit. Again, we don't really have much going on of sure, it's double isekai, which is something a little bit novel. The magic has regressed, which is in points that could be interesting, depending. The character sure is somewhat more palatable than normal isekai characters, but it is a very overpowered character. So I feel like we don't really have much growth potential, especially because that is the thing he wants to do. He wants to become a stronger mage. But I feel like we don't really have the option because he is already super strong and the magic in the world is weaker than he is. So that is why it's at the moment, this is not an official rating for the whole series. I'm going to continue watching it. And my rating may change drastically. But yeah, I fear that we are not going to get the development that the character initially wanted to have.